"Where are you going, Mother?" "Mother, listen, stop," he called out again, where Mother was going. But her mother-in-law kept walking without hearing him. Hossein Sahib went ahead while speaking the words, but he felt that his mother-in-law did not hear him. She was walking towards the thick garden behind the house. The newly married Hussein was very annoyed by his mother-in-law's behavior. Meanwhile, hearing his call, his wife opened the door and came out. She was surprised to see him and asked, "Who are you calling?" Hussein Sahib expressed annoyance and said, "I am calling your mother," but Mother did not replying to me. He walked towards the garden. Hearing this, his wife looked at him like a fool. Then, when his wife said something to him, he was startled, looked into the garden with wide eyes, and fell to the ground, unconscious. Hi friends, today I will share with you a real ghost story that happened in 1980 with a man named Hossein Sahib from a country called Bangladesh. The story has some talk in local language, so everyone listen the story carefully to understand the story, and if you don't understand anything, then you can comment on the video. Now enjoy the story. The time was 1981. Mr. Hussein returned from abroad and got married. Just after a month, his wife went to his father's house for a visit. He was also supposed to go at the same time, but due to urgent work, he could not do it, so he sent his wife first. After about a week, he left for his in-laws' house, which was in Bangladesh. A village called Chatkil in Noakhali district was not well developed at that time. Although he left in the morning, he reached the village called Chatkil in the middle of the night. There were vans or rickshaws during the day, but as it was night, he could not find any people around. His grandfather's house was in the same village, and he knew the streets very well, as he knew the roads very well, so he knows his in-laws' house was about 10 kilometers away from there. He waited for a long time without finding any vehicle and started walking. The people of the village finished their work very quickly in the evening and fell asleep. In the 80s, there was no electricity in this village in Bangladesh, so at that time, Mr. Hussein could not see anyone. The dirt road was very dark at night. Also, because of the trees on both sides of the road seems more dark. When he saw this situation, Hossein Sahib started scolding himself for not bringing his torchlight with him. He took out a cigarette from his pocket and lit it, and saw how many sticks of matchbox were left, like 20. "It seems we'll be done," he thought to himself, and began to walk, exhaling cigarette smoke. All around, only the sound of insects and frogs calling after some time. After some time, Mr. Hussein lit a matchstick and saw the way ahead. Hussein Sahib was a boy in the city, but believed in supernatural things, but he was also very brave. After walking about 2 or 3 kilometers, he stood and took out a bottle of water from his handbag, drank some water, and started walking again. After walking a little further, he came to a muddy road. The road was so muddy that his shoes were sinking. After walking for a long time, he crossed the muddy road and got on the dry road. As his shoes became heavy, he again took out water from his bag, cleaned his shoes, drank the water from the bottle, and threw the bottle in the sink on the side of the road. He took out a cigarette from his pocket and lit it. He held the matchstick to the road ahead before throwing it. He felt that someone was sitting on the side of the road a few steps ahead. He got a little scared. He suddenly stood up and exhaled the smoke of his cigarette, thinking whether he would light another match to be confirmed. Suddenly, someone said in an impossibly heavy voice from the front,
"Who goes? Why don't you talk? Who goes?"
Hussein took a long and deep breath and was shocked and said, "I am Hussein. I am Samsuddin Sahib's son-in-law." After a while, the voice spoke again.
"Is there any problem this night?"
"There is no problem. I am late. The voice spoke again.
No one commute here at late night. There is danger. You people of the city don't understand when they talk to you. You have to respect the darkness of the night. If you don't respect them, they don't respect you either,
said the old man. Hossein Sahib was very annoyed by the old man's words. He was about to start walking. That time, he suddenly heard the sound of a little girl's giggles. Hossein Sahib said, "Who?" The old man said, "It's nothing and my granddaughter." But Hossein Sahib didn't see anyone around the old man. The old man said,
"Don't be afraid. Let us deliver you to your home. You go first. I am following behind you."
Hossein Sahib started walking more calmly now. He thought that it is good that he has found a companion. At the same time, Hossein Sahib went to light another cigarette, and the old man said,
"Don't smoke. I can't tolerate the smell of cigarettes."
Hossein Sahib put the cigarette pack in his pocket without thinking anything else and asked the old man, "Where is your house, old man?" The old man replied,
"Where do I come from?" Next to him.
Mr. Hussein asked again, "What do you do?" The old man replied. Mr. Hussein said, "I don't understand." The old man then mumbled what he said. Hossein Sahib didn't understand anything, but he didn't ask any questions. He thought that the old man might not want to say. Suddenly, a huge dog came from behind the front tree in the middle of the road and started barking. The dog's eyes were burning. Hossein Sahib stood up. The old man said from behind,
"Don't disturb him. He is our guest."
Hearing his words, who knows what the dog understood, immediately began to walk with the old man, making a quah-quah sound. Hussein asked if it was your pet. The old man replied,
"Yes, pet, but not all. Fear of those who are not."
Mr. Hussein did not understand anything of his words, but he did not say anything else. There was no other conversation in the whole road. Suddenly, the old man said that,
"After going only 50 yards ahead, Samsuddin's house is on the left-hand side. Light a cigarette and leave. Do not stop smoke before going home. Now go."
Hussein Sahib was surprised to hear such words, but did not say anything. He thanked the old man, lit a cigarette, and started walking. At that time, the moon was peeking out from the clouds. He took a few steps forward and looked back. There were no old men or dogs, crop fields around. He was even more afraid to wonder where the old man and his dog had gone so quickly. Now he started walking quickly. He threw away his cigarette 10 steps before his house. There is no other house for a long distance around his father-in-law's house. The courtyard of the house is clearly visible in the light of the moon. He saw someone in a white dress in the courtyard as if he was spreading clothes. He went a little further and he saw his mother-in-law drying the clothes. He said from afar, "How are you, mother?" But he saw her mother-in-law walking towards the thick garden behind the house without answering. Hossein Sahib called again, "Why is mother going there? Listen, stop." But his mother-in-law did not stop. She continued walking. Mr. Hossein was annoyed by this usage. Meanwhile, his wife opened the door and came out. Aisha was quite surprised to see her husband so late night. Aisha said, "Who are you calling so late at night?" When Hossein Sahib looked closely, his wife had a knife in her hand and said, "I am calling your mother." Mother saw me and went towards the garden. Aisha said, "What are you talking about? Mother has been to father's house for 2 days. How can she come here at night?" The shadow statue in white dress is still standing. As he looked, the shadow statue turned into a dog with a terrifying smile. The eyes are turned red, gada-gada sound and saliva coming out of the mouth. Seeing this scene, Mr. Hussein fainted and fell on the ground. When he regained consciousness, Hossein Sahib realized that he was lying on the bed in his room and saw his wife and his 2 younger brothers-in-law and sister-in-law, whose ages are 5 and 3, respectively. Hossein Sahib was 21. and Aisha was only 14. Aisha said in a frightened voice. "What happened to you?" Mr. Hussein asked. "Did you see anything that time?" Aisha said, "What will I see?" Hussein Sahib did not say anything because Aisha can be afraid. Hussein Sahib was very tired, so he ate what was in the house and went to bed. Hussein Sahib suddenly said, "When you opened the door, I think I saw a knife in your hand." Aisha said yes. After the prayer of Isha, Muslims pray Isha after 7 o'clock in the night. Someone was knocking on the door. I opened the door and saw that there was no one. After some time, someone knocked again. I opened the door and saw that there was no one. After a while, someone knocked again. I opened the door again and saw that there was no one. I thought it was a robber. So the next time I heard your voice, I went out with a knife. Mr. Hussein started to think silently what was going on. Suddenly, there was a loud noise in the tin roof, as if someone jumped and fell into the tin roof. In Bangladesh, tin sheds are used as roofs while building houses. Because of the sound, the younger members of the house jumped and started crying. Aisha herself is scared, which is evident from her face. Mr. Hussein himself was afraid, but did not express it. He assured everyone to go to sleep and said that maybe weasel will happen, there is nothing to fear. Mr. Hussein understood very well that something bad was going to happen. After 2 or 3 minutes, he heard the sound of something walking on the tin roof, and suddenly he heard a terrible beast gore angrily sounds. Aisha clutched his hand in fear. Hussein himself felt helpless. There are no houses around. There is no way to shout for help from anyone. Meanwhile, the screams and roars of the terrible beast are increasing. He started reciting Ayatul Kursi. Ayatul Kursi is a surah of the Muslim scriptures. If you read it, the jinn or the ghost cannot do any harm. Gradually, the sound became closed. Hussein breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door. Jahanara Begum, the mother-in-law of Hussein Sahib. Jahanara Begum got up from sleep, drank 2 glasses of water from the water mug next to her. She kept thinking about the dream. What did he see? He lay down thinking. At the moment, he got up and got ready, got the 8-year-old boy up and got him ready too. He called Barbie from sleep. Bangladeshi people call elder brother's wife Barbie. She said to his Barbie, "I have to go. When brother returns from the mosque in the morning, tell him to go to my house." Barbie was surprised to hear this. "What are you saying? How can you go at late night? It is 6 kilometers from here. You go in the morning, and besides, your work is supposed to be finished tomorrow." Jahanara Begum came to her father's house to settle a matter related to her husband Shamsuddin's land. As Shamsuddin Sahib stayed in Karachi, the task fell on Jahanara Begum. But now the Jahanas are unwilling to accept anything. "My sons and daughters are alone. I have had a very bad dream. My mind will not give me peace anymore. Let me go." After saying this, with a kind of force, she went out taking his son with him for home. She is calling Allah and reciting surah in his mind. She is a villager, so it is not difficult to walk in the dark. After reaching the middle of the road and standing in front of the culvert at the entrance to their village, she saw someone fishing under the low culvert. The person saw Jahanara Begum. He said,
"Who is Shamsuddin wife or not?"
Jahanara Begum was horrified, for she was a very pious woman, though fully veiled. But this man recognized her, so she started to feel some fear and discomfort.
The man suddenly said, "No fear. I can recognize you after seeing your son."
Jahanara Begum felt relieved. She slowly told her son Mamun to ask his identity. Mamun asked uncle, "What is your identity?" It is worth noting that in Islam, even if any man other than the husband of a woman hears a woman's voice, it is a sin for the woman. Hearing Mamun's words, the man said,
I work in Aslam's house. My house is in another village.
She didn't remember that there was someone named Aslam in Jahanara Begum's village, so she started walking again. The man said from behind,
Sister, my hurricane lamp is extinguished. If you have any fire, give me some. I can't see well at night, so it will be difficult for me to walk.
Jahanara Begum stopped, took out the matchbox from her bag and gave it to Mamun and asked him light the fire and bring the matchbox. At that time, almost everyone carried more or less a box of matches, and each matchbox contained one piece of iron, because they believed that if iron was near, nothing bad could come near. Anyway, Mamun went to give the matchbox, but before giving it, the man said,
Hurricane lamp oil seems to be all gone. I see no other option but to go home.
Saying this, the man climbed up from under the culvert. Jahanara Begum was surprised to see a huge dog with the man. The man said,
No fear, and it's my pet. You go first. I'm also coming behind you. My house is over there.
Jahanara Begum started walking, holding her son's hand without saying anything else. As soon as she came near the house, the man said from behind,
Your son-in-law are having a lot of trouble at home. Go quickly.
After saying this, the man left them behind and started to go forward for the first time. Jahanara Begum was surprised and wondered what this man said. From where will my son-in-law come here? He is in Dhaka now. And where is this man going? There are no other houses ahead in this area. Thinking these things, she entered the courtyard. Mamun suddenly said, Mum, look what's on the tin roof. Hearing Mamun's words, looking on the tin roof, she saw something moved away in the blink of an eye. She knocked on the door of the house. There was no sound from inside the room. She knocked again and called Aisha. Aisha opened the door. A small voice come from inside. Who, Mom? Jahanara Begum answered. The door opened. Jahanara Begum was surprised to see that her son-in-law was standing. She quickly entered the house and heard the whole incident from her son-in-law and daughter. Aisha asks mother, Why did you come so late night? Jahanara Begum to say, In my sleep, I saw a dream that a huge eagle leaking a hole in the tin roof and tried to going inside of my house. Somebody was reading the Al-Quran, so eagle could not enter the house. Al-Quran is the holy book scriptures of Muslim. And someone was telling me from afar that there is danger in your house. After I had this dream, I couldn't stay calm anymore, so I come home as soon as possible. Before the conversation was finished, the sound of heavy footsteps started on the tin roof. Jahanara Begum started reciting the Holy Quran. The sound was getting louder and louder. Suddenly it seemed as if someone was fighting on the tin roof. Then a terrible scream was heard. After a while of silence, Hussein heard the sound of a dog barking, opened the window a little, and saw a man is walking away, and a big furry dog was walking with him. There was no more problem all night. Jahanara Begum's brother came in the morning. Jahanara Begum told everything to her brother. Her brother Mohsin said, he will bring his master. Mohsin Ali brought his master in the afternoon. His master asked for 2 days. After 2 days he came and said, since the time of Shamsuddin Sahib's ancestors, a jinn family has been protecting this family. Muslims call ghosts jinn, and that night, an evil spirit followed Hossein Sahib and came to your house. But that good jinn sent Hossein Sahib home safely, and Jahanara warned the Begum and sent her home safely as well. While leaving, he killed the evil spirit and took it with him. After telling everyone about the full incident, Master Sahib departed from there.